Hey everybody, going to do another reveal video. This will be my second one. It was kind of fun to do the first one. I think I got 100 views on it, so it went crazy. It's an SGC reveal of vintage football. So if you're interested in that, you might find this one kind of interesting. It's mainly Lombardi Packers, and they go into my personal collection. I don't sell much. It's mainly just to display on the wall for nostalgia. So the box came back from SGC today, and I'm going to go ahead and open it up, as you can see, and I won't make you sit through that, but let's go ahead and do the reveal. Alright, so this first one, they said no on this. It's a Starr Unitas, Wonderful World of Stamps. No particular explanation. Now this is one of the things SGC has been doing more lately, is if there's research involved, they may not put the effort in. Now, take a look at the next one here, 1968 Starr Unitas. A little off center, left to right. Corners aren't too bad. The back's, again, a little off center, but otherwise nice. I was hoping to maybe get a 5 on this card. And let's see what we got. We got a 6. Happy with a 6. So we'll set that one down there. And we're off and rolling. Alright, next one, also Starr Unitas. Oh, I'm sorry, this is Bart Starr. Philadelphia card from 66. And again, I was hoping for maybe a 5, possibly a 6. It's hard to find these really centered. I think this one's pretty nice. You can see the back of the card. Just a little bit of wear in the corners, but not much to speak of. So let's hope for a 6 on this. And we got our 6. Very nice. Next card we have is a 1968 Jim Taylor. I thought this was a beauty. It's centered, corners are nice, color's nice. All in all, very happy with that card. It's possible to get a little better than a 6 on this one. At least I'm hoping. Hey, we got a 7. Okay, off to a good start. So I picked up another one of these Bart Starrs. I was really hoping just one of them would get a 6. And what the heck, let's see how we did on this other one. Take a look at the back on this. A little off left to right, but not too bad. Centering's not too bad. There's a little bit of a rough edge on that one, so it could be a little bit less than a 6, but it is a 6. So I'm pretty happy there. Okay. Now we have a 66 Starr Unitas. I hadn't found one of these at a decent price. This one has a flaw, pretty obvious one, along the edge, right in here. There's like a little nick with some missing paper. I was hoping it might still get a 5 because the corners were all really nice. There weren't really any other, flaws of note on this card. But we'll see how much that cost me. Looks like it cost me at least a couple grades. So I got a 4 on that one. Okay. So because of that, I thought I better pick up another one and hope for a little bit better grade. Again, it's a little off center, left, right, top, bottom. It's not perfect, but it's a really, really nice photo on that card. Corners are really sharp. I was hoping for a 6, and we got a 6. Okay. So next, we have a 65 Bart Starr. Again, shooting for a 6 on this card. The centering's not perfect, but it's not bad. And what did we get? We got a 6. All right. All right, so we got a 64 Starr Unitas. Not much to say about this card. I think it's in pretty nice condition. It could be a 7 if I get really lucky, but most likely it's going to be a 6. And it is. But I have no complaints about that. All right. And another one. This one is a little bit more off center, top to bottom. But really, there's nothing else obviously wrong with the card. And it's another 6. So pretty happy with that. Now we have a 1964 Willie Davis rookie, Hall of Famer. One of the great Lombardi Packers. I was hoping for a 6 on this card, but when I look at it now, I can see it's unlikely, given the centering and there's a little wear in the corners. Still a nice card, but maybe a 5 is more likely on this card. We'll see what we get. 5.5. Okay. All right. I can live with that. Now, these are from the they came out with a deck of cards in 1962 that had all the old football greats, and I picked up a Packers team set of these. And when I got them, I could see there was some wear around the edges, a little rub wear on the front and back. So I didn't expect great grades on these. I think these are going to be right in the middle. Maybe a 4, maybe a 5. This is Don Hudson, by the way. Got a 5 on that one. And another playing card. It's Stancraft Playing Cards is the name of the set. There was a red back and a green back deck. And if you find the whole deck, you're sitting good. These are actually fairly collectible. They're kind of oddball cards. This is a Jim Taylor, the 8 of diamonds. So it looks like on the back. You can see all the nostalgic helmets. And another 5. So I think I have a hunch what this next one's going to be. This is the Paul Hornung card from the same set. See the front and the back. My guess is a 5. Alright, so now we're getting into some Bart Starr. I've got 2 of these 1963s that I sent in. I think this one is a really nice card other than the top to bottom centering. And given that, it's probably going to be a 5. Outside shot at a 6. I'll show you what the back looks like here. So what do you think? 5 or a 6? And they gave me a 5. Alright. So that's a lot of 5s in a row here. This card is very similar to the last one, except it's centered, it's still the top to bottom, but this one's closer to the bottom. If I could average the 2, I'd be in good shape. But here's what that one looks like. And what did we get on that? Another 5. Okay. So here's the 63 Johnny Unitas. And I was hoping for maybe a 6 on this one. See the back. And we got authentic evidence of trimming. And when I look at it, I'm going to say the trimming may have occurred along that bottom edge. But who knows? Somewhere it was trimmed. So that's unfortunate. By the way, these are all pretty much eBay purchases from the last few months. Here's a Jimmy Taylor from 1963. Sent this one in because I thought it had a decent shot at maybe getting a 6 or better. There's no specific flaws, just a tiny little bit of wear in the corners. And there it is. We got a 6. All right. And we got the Zeke Bradkowski. Now this one is a Chicago Bears card, and I ordinarily wouldn't even get close to picking up a Bears card, but he was a major player in the Lombardi Packers. He won some big games, and his rookie card is a 1954. So I was hoping for a 5 on this, but when I look at it now, I think it's probably unlikely. The corners are a little worn on it. So yeah, I got a 4 on that card. But I still think it's a pretty nice card, and he was a key player on the team. So, all right, so we're going to go into stack number 2 here. First card, it's a 1961 Johnny Unitas. Excuse the the sleeve they put it in. I think you should still be able to see it. Definitely some wear in the corners. I think most of the 61s have like a print defect in this area right here. So if this gets a 4, that might be okay. A 4.5, I'm okay with that. I would like to find a nicer one, but I think that one's pretty nice. All right. And then just for display purposes, I always thought this was a pretty cool card. I'd never sent one off to get graded. This one seemed really nice to me. It's just a team pennant card from the 1959 Topps set. On the back, it just gives a little information about the Packers. And I'm hoping for maybe something better than a 6. Okay, we got a 7 on that card. Happy with that. Okay, next one, I've been working on a run of Alan Amici. Just read a book about him. Of course, he was a famous Badger, and then scored one of the most famous touchdowns in NFL history. And I just think that his old cards are pretty cool. This one I couldn't see anything wrong with at all. Well, okay, centering on the back, you can maybe say isn't exactly that good, but I think it's got a chance at being a 6 or better. Let's see what they gave it. All right, that one got a 7. So I'm pretty happy with a 7 on that. 1957 card with a 7. All right, this is, let's see, this is Amici. I'm going to say this is his rookie card, but it might be his 56. They use the same picture on both cards. And the cards look very similar to each other. I don't know. I think this one has a little corner rounding. Centering's not great. I was hoping for a 5, and I got a 4. Huh. All right. Well, that one I'm not completely sure I agree with that, but it's still okay. Here's a 58 Bart Starr. I do have a little nicer copy of this one, but you can never have too many of these, so I thought this one was okay. You can see there's a little rub, wear, and toning on the back. There's obvious centering issues with it. Anything better than a 4 is probably okay, and it gets a 5. So I'm all right with that. Okay. I'd had this one sitting in my collection for quite a while and didn't think it was necessarily worth getting it graded, but it made it in this batch. Frank Gifford, I think the back is beautiful, but of course it's not centered very well. A 6 is the top end for this, but I don't think so. I think it's probably more like a 5. And that is correct. All right. So this is a Jim Taylor rookie, and as anyone who follows the vintage football knows, this is the wrong Jim Taylor. This is the guy from the Cardinals. Doesn't look a bit like Jim Taylor from the Packers, but it's still considered his rookie card. And the best I'd done on this one in the past was a 5, so I wanted to get something maybe a 6 or better. This card looked really nice, and sure enough, I got a 6.5 on it. So that one goes in the display for sure. All right. So now we did 3 of these, 1960 Bart Starrs. I do have an SGC 6 in my collection on this. I would be happy if any of these got a 6. I think they're, when I look at them, they all sort of have the same kind of issue that there's a little wear in the corners. There may be a little too much to get a 6. All right, we got a 5 on that one. And this one looks pretty similar. Back might be a little bit better color on the back, but probably not a whole lot different. And sure enough, SGC, they're consistent. There they go again. And I thought maybe the 3rd time's a charm. This one is centered nicely. I think the picture looks a little nicer on it. I thought the corners look pretty sharp, although this corner right up here might have a little bit of softness to it, so that'll probably keep it from getting the 6 that I was hoping for. And they gave it a 5. 3 5s. Not quite what I was hoping, but I understand. All right. So Starr Unitas 1962 Post Serials. If you watched my last video, you know that I have an issue with SGC and hand-cut cards. They seem to max out at a 5 no matter what you send them, and a lot of them are quite a bit lower than that. Now this one does have, you can see in the light there, let me see if I can get it. Anyway, it has a crease down the side there. It's easier to see on the back. I thought this could get a 1. Anything better than a 1 I thought was fine, but again, it's just for a display, and they gave me a 1.5 on it. But I think it's a nice looking 1.5. Okay, another postcard, or post serials that is. Jerry Kramer, Hall of Famer, one of the few remaining Packers from that era who's still out there signing autographs and making appearances and stuff. This one had the border all the way around. I didn't see a whole lot of wear in the corners. It really ought to get better than a 5, in my opinion. It does have a little stain on the back right there, so that might give them an excuse to grade it down a little bit, but it's hard to imagine it being a lot less. All right, a 4. Well, as I said before, they just don't like these hand-cut cards. I guess there's some rub wear on it, on the front, but that's not great. Now, these Fleer wallet photos, these are from 1961, and they're paper thin, and I'd sent a couple of these off, and I was not happy with the grades. In my video, I claimed I would never send it to SGC again, but I did. And so I never got anything higher than a 4 on one of these cards before, so I'm not expecting much. Hey, I mean, that's not bad. I'll take a 5 on that. All right, just a few more to go here. Here's a 71 Bart Starr that I picked up. I thought it looked pretty nice. Centering's not bad. There's a little rub wear on that edge over there, but not much wear in the corners. Could get a 6, I would think. 6.5. Pretty nice. All right, and a 69 Unitas. Not a tough card to find, but again, I felt like this one was in pretty nice condition. I was hoping for a 6 or better on this. And we got a 6. Here's the back, and you can see in the corners there's not much wear there at all. Okay, so then this was one of those holy grail searches. I'd gotten a sheet of Glendale stamps, all the Packers except for Bart Starr, and I did win this in an auction, and I expected it to come back authentic because it's not cut very well. And based on how they graded these in the past, I sent 4 of these in last time, and the best I got was a 2.5. And I got a 4. So I got a different grader this time, because last time this would have been either authentic or much lower. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now the pop on this thing is virtually, these are almost non-existent. And in the same auction, I went ahead and got the Unitas card, which looked a little bit nicer than the Starr card. I expected this one would grade a little bit better, but I've been wrong about these every single time I've tried to predict it, so I'm sure I'm wrong on this one, and I am. They gave it a 3, but it's better than an authentic. And my final card is 1968 Standard Oil Bart Starr, and these came in pairs. They're basically, I can't remember who all would be on the left side of this card, so this is just kind of the right side of it. And for that reason, I think they tend to grade them down. I think I have a 3 that I got graded from CSG a long time ago. I was hoping for something better than that. And here we go again. They gave me a 4. I really thought this one had a chance of grading a little nicer than that. But I'll take what they gave us. So there you go. There's the collection. Okay, just to wrap it up here, why did I go with SGC? I'm sure that's the big question. I mean, it looks like their PSA is going to kill it. The volumes have plummeted. You know, those slabs, for all we know, it's very difficult to predict what's going to happen in the future. From my perspective, SGC has established themselves as the premier vintage grader. PSA's up there as well, but they're a lot less consistent. They take a cut, if you happen to get a good grade. They do their upcharges. It takes forever to get them back. And there's always a few mystery grades with PSA. You get them back and you say, well, how could that be a 3? Did I miss a wrinkle somewhere? I've had that happen plenty of times. It still can happen with SGC, but I just don't find it happens very often. I think they're much more consistent. And the turnaround time is faster. I like the look of the slabs. I think vintage cars look nicer in the tuxedo slabs. And I don't care that much if the value isn't quite, where PSA is at, or if it's going to have a downward decline. You can always crack it and send it to PSA if you want to, but for me, they're just going to go on the wall anyway. So I want to make sure they look good. I want to make sure my heirs can sell them when time comes and they're not, having a difficulty with that. And I still think, even though SGC is, they're not the company they used to be. That's clear. But if they do settle into that niche where they're the vintage, the king of vintage, the volumes are never going to be what they are for modern and ultra modern. But real collectors who just want their cars to look good and have them authenticated and preserved and protected, I think SGC's still got a niche there. So I hope they hang on. We will see. I think that's it for now. Thanks again for watching the video.